It is now time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
And today we are joined by Jon Anne Willow with Third Coast Digest, plus James T. Harris is back, filling in today for Jeff Wagner. Okay, so our first topic this afternoon, search efforts continue for Tommy Hecht. He's been missing since a pub crawl on Saturday. His parents organized a search effort throughout much of downtown, and much of the attention to find him has centered near the water of the Milwaukee River. Now, many are hoping for the best, but are suspecting the worst. Could excessive drinking be to blame, and should it lead to banning pub crawls?
Well, that's a kind of a two-part question, isn't it? It's Water Street. That's where he was. Excessive drinking could definitely have been part of that. I didn't see him last night, and I don't want to step too far out of line because of the family situation. I don't want to be in any way insensitive when I don't have the facts. But banning pub crawls is a little extreme. I mean, we do things all the time where we could be in danger if we didn't use good judgment, and boxing us in every time one person shows bad judgment is sort of the death of democracy in general. James?
I agree 100%. I mean, we're trying to like bubble wrap everything. I'm a Wisconsinite. It's part of the culture, although I've never been on a pub crawl, but it's like we're trying to shut everything down because of incidences like that. And again, they're not connected. And perfectly, I hope that we find the young man is found and he's found safe. But we can't over-insulate everything and try to protect everyone in our society.
We've had 3 or 4 instances here in the last couple of months where somebody has gotten blind, stupid, drunk, and either fallen through ice or drowned in a body of water. What can we do to fix this part of the drinking culture that says it's okay to get blind, stupid, drunk?
But it's not okay. It's not okay to get blind, stupid, drunk.
But people think it's acceptable because they keep doing it.
I don't think there's something that you can necessarily fix. What, we're going to ban alcohol? We're going to ban cigarettes?
There's no way to fix all the stupid people in the world.
Do bartenders need to be better trained to know to cut people off?
That could help, and we could work to create more jobs and more opportunities and a more diverse entertainment platform in northern Wisconsin, where alcoholism and suicide coincidentally are at their worst, also smoking rates. But until we address some of these larger problems, which we probably never will be able to as a society, I think we're just going to have to deal with personal responsibility.
Bam.
Yep.
Personal response. We agree right off the bat.
That's our one, James. That'll be our one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Coming up next, Goldman Sachs dealing with the fallout from a scathing and very public resignation letter from one of its executives. Will this have a lasting effect on how banks do business?
Spring.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, really. Uh-oh. Well, now time for more of What's Hot.
Again, we are joined by Jon Anne Willow from Third Coast Digest, and the beautiful man, James T. Harris, is filling in for Jeff Wagner today. All right, so the op-ed by a disgruntled former Goldman Sachs executive has apparently cost the company about $2 billion. Greg Smith's very public resignation letter scathingly denounced his employer, saying the company has a toxic and destructive culture. After it circulated, the firm's shares dropped 3.4%. That's how you get $2 billion. How will this change how banks do business?
Well, this letter that he wrote was actually an op-ed that appeared in the New York Times, and the reason apparently that it took off is because he was a very dedicated long-term employee, a no-drama guy. He'd been promoted and transferred, and he finally got sick of it. So calling him just simply a disgruntled employee is probably sort of casting him in a light that I don't necessarily agree with, but I doubt it'll change a darn thing that the banks do.
I agree with the first part of your comments. He was not just a NEO worker. This guy was kind of up there. He carried some weight. But I disagree with the second part. I think this is going to be very damaging, that it showed up in the New York Times instead of the Wall Street Journal. If you had a chance to read this thing, it is devastating.
Yeah, it really is.
And I think the more people see this and the more they consider what they're investing in with their 401ks and all this and how it's being mismanaged and misused and how they're being seen as in the industry as pawns, or all these names that they have for them, the doofs. I mean, this is going to be devastating. I think it's going to, the bloodletting has not stopped yet.
So you think, oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
No, go ahead, Shelley.
Well, I was going to say that, I hope, first of all, that this guy does not want to work in finance anymore.
I don't think he does. I don't think he's in danger of that, yeah.
And another thing is, I'm seeing a lot of criticism of him. People are saying that he's naive. Of course, this is how the banks work. Welcome to the real world.
It hasn't always worked like this, and this was his point. And he is talking about how corrosive the corruption perceptions in this culture has become over the last 15 to 20 years and how it's accelerating. It's not just a generational issue. Of course they're making fun of him because they're trying to protect this hundreds of billions, $1 trillion industry, but he has opened up a Pandora's box of truth here, and it's going to be devastating in the short and I think long run as more and more people catch on to what's going on.
Nothing he said in this letter, though, was really new. There was a book that came out after the big 80s boom, Liar's Poker, which spelled these exact same things out. He's just striking a nerve while that nerve is raw with so many Americans right now.
That it showed up in the New York Times for all kinds of reasons. I can't get into this, but I can on my radio show. But this is why it's reverberating around the country.
So what you're saying is not that the banks would choose to change their practices, but that there might be enough public pressure now, just like with Bank of America forcing or chasing people off to credit unions and creating a whole new boom for credit unions, that people might just say, forget it.
Exactly. People want to put their money where they understand how it works. They understand what's going on. That's why you're seeing an explosion in people moving their money to credit unions. This is going to have people take their money out of these investment firms and put them in whole life insurance, something they can understand.
Well, sorry to cut you guys off, but we've run out of time for that topic. We do have to move on to the next one. And it is 3 out of 10 adults, ages 25 to 34, are living with their parents. And most of them are perfectly fine with it. And this is according to a new Pew Research survey. Experts say many adults may not mind living with their folks because so many others their age are doing it. So what do we think about this trend?
I was talking to my husband about this earlier today, and because we have children between 23 and 13, it's on a sliding scale, and only the minors live with us right now. And we were thinking about what that would be like. And you know, we thought about the crowding and the lifestyle cramping. You know, you look forward to your kids getting out, but these guys, the people that they're talking about in these situations, that over 87% are helping out with bills. Half are paying rent. I think the other half should be. But if it works for everybody, and it makes everyone more financially comfortable, and the kids are working and saving and planning for their life, then I think it's just fine with me. My father's coming to live with us this summer.
That's the key. I mean, do they want to be there? Do they feel like they're trapped, or are they actually contributing? I mean, it's one thing to live with your parents when you're 35 years old and you don't have an income and they're taking care of you like you were 15.
Yeah, that's creepy.
There's another thing chipping in. There's another thing, you know, if you're there to help out. But this is more than a trend. I think we're seeing a real shift in the culture. And whereas when I was growing up, it was unacceptable. The real danger here is a lot of people, no matter what the situation is, they're saying it's cool, it's acceptable.
Well, good luck finding a date if you're living in Manchester.
I don't think that's
and
true
then there's
anymore.
that.
I think families are moving back together, and that's great.
We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back.